It is time that we had a talk. A real talk.
Hey, what is up, guys? Star Wars Real Talk here. Gonna do a quick check, make sure everything's looking good, and it looks like it is. How you guys doing? I'm having a pretty okay day. I have a today off, and I haven't really done an official video on Visions yet. I did my first impressions, where I talked a lot about my first impressions, what I thought about the show as a whole. So I don't really have to do that now in this video. I'm just going to talk about each individual episode. I'm just going to put my thoughts out there, what I liked more, what I liked less. I don't think there was anything in this list of episodes that I hated. But anyway, I went to Tier Maker and I threw together a little list. I mean, there's not that many episodes, so it's not going to take that long. What's up, Average? What's up, Burko? Good to see you guys. And we're going to talk a little bit about that. So let me just add that to the stream here. Hold up. There we go. Also, just before we get into it, real quick, shout out to the High Council members, people who are supporting me. Love you guys. Appreciate you guys. Also, if you're a member of the High Council, your name is going to be highlighted now because you have been given access to YouTube mod role, because YouTube won't monetize me. That's the only way that I can give you guys the appreciation that you deserve. So let's get into it. So I watched them all originally in Japanese, and then I was rewatching the ones that I liked in English just to get a full grasp of it. And they had very different experience watching them in Japanese and English, because I kind of have a hard time watching shows that are designed in Japanese but then redubbed in English, because they have to match up the English lines with the lip syncing, right? Which means that it's not always the most organic, or they're not saying something that would be the most appropriate for the situation. They're trying to say things to fill up the gaps where, when the character's mouth is open and closed, they have to use those gaps to say what they need to say, and that doesn't always line up. And that's very distracting for me. I can't not notice it. I feel like I'm just constantly watching the lip syncing, and it just totally takes me out of it. Yeah, well, we'll see. Yeah, so anyway, that being said, I didn't find that any were much better or worse, Japanese or English. I just found that I wasn't distracted by the lip syncing in Japanese, but also because I was reading subtitles, that was distracting from watching episodes, so it balanced out a little bit. The episodes that I liked more were the ones like in the best tier. They did the best job, in my opinion, blending the Japanese culture with the Star Wars experience, because that's what this was about, I think, or at least it was to me. So if the one, okay, let's just talk about each individually. So we're gonna start off with the duel. I put these in order, or they should be in order, I think. So the duel was the first one. I really enjoyed the duel. I know a lot of people did. I think that's a lot of people's favorite. I think I'd really captured that Japanese culture very well, and it also captured that Star Wars feeling very well, and it added a fresh twist to it, with them both being Sith, or an ex-Sith, or whatever it is that he was. I know it's kind of an upside-down world in this anime, but I love that ancient Japan feel. It was really well done with the black and white. The animation was really cool. I definitely saw that it was made by the same people who did JoJo. Like, Ronin very much looked like a JoJo character. The stormtroopers just looked so cool with their ancient design, or not ancient. Well, you know what I mean. It's the adapted anime design to the armor, and I just love the way that they set up. I mean, this is obvious. This is why it's a good episode, but how they set up the teapot with the droid being fixed. So that was a very clever setup that paid off big time at the end, because it didn't feel like a shocking twist or this Jedi did something truly incredible. It was a setup that was well executed, and it made the whole episode really good. The lightsaber fight was really good. How he won at the end felt very sneaky, felt very clever. I don't know if that's not a very Jedi way to win a fight. I don't think, using deception and stuff like that. Maybe I'm wrong, but It was kind of cool to see that he won in that way. It wasn't necessarily that he beat her with raw strength or whatever. It was a very clever way to win. So the audio was fantastic in that one. I loved it. Was so subtly this Japanese style of music, but it still had the Star Wars feeling to it. So I'm going to put this in best tier. I think it did a great job blending these cultures together. And also, I just got to say, the sound that his lightsaber made when he was unsheathing it and resheathing it, that very heavy vibration sound, was so good. It was so cool looking. And yeah, I just could rewatch that scene over and over. And this isn't the only episode that did that. A lot of other episodes did the I'm trying to think of which animes did that, or which episodes did that. I think maybe half of them did that with the sheathed lightsaber, and then the other ones were like traditional lightsabers. But that being said, I love the lightsabers in every single one of these. All the lightsabers were done well in every single episode. They were all really cool, like traditional style, katana style, sheathed style. Like it all looked really cool. Because some of them were katanas that weren't sheathed; they turned on like normal lightsabers. Speaking of cool lightsabers, let's move on to. Well, this isn't the correct order, but I want to talk about the twins now because their lightsabers were really cool. I love that imperial look of their lightsabers, or the main character, or the guy. I can't remember his name now. I can never remember his name, but he had such a cool lightsaber. It stood out to me. And that animation where he just pops the crystal in. You know, he didn't have to like disassemble the lightsaber with the Force. He just freaking like he was reloading a gun. The twins was really good. Everybody knows that. It was top tier for sure. It was a lot of action, and I think it felt the most Star Warsy, right? There wasn't a ton of Japanese culture in it, which you could argue it takes away from the idea of it being done in anime, but I think it was done really well. It was the one that was the most Star Wars like, and I think that was okay. I don't think it was lacking because it didn't have that touch of Japanese culture to it. It felt very much like the main character very much felt like Luke, which was really cool. His droid's name was very similar to R2D2 as well. I can't remember what it was, but yeah, it felt very Kill la Kill, which was the studio that did it. I'm gonna put the duel in the best tier. Let me think about this now. Yeah, I think it was one of the best for sure. I'm just trying to think if there's any other points that I can think about. It's very fast paced, but I think that was fine. Yeah, it's a really cool concept. I don't know, two Imperial leaders going at it that combine Star Destroyers with the Death Star tech cannon that we never got to see, but that was okay. I didn't really understand his first of all how they could fight in space, but I just wrote that off. It's not canon. Who cares? But then he like stood on the X-wing upside down and sliced the Star Destroyer. I just didn't understand why his lightsaber became so large. But the kyber crystals are just maybe super powerful in this anime. It felt a little bit weird. I just didn't really get it. But it's an anime, so who freaking cares? It was really good. Okay, let's Tatooine Rhapsody. I should have done already. I thought it was going to be a bottom tier for me before I watched it, but it was really good. I was really impressed with it. The Japanese and the English were both really well done, especially Boba Fett. Hearing Tamara Morrison as Boba Fett was just awesome. I can't wait for the Book of Boba. I was really impressed by it. I didn't think I was going to like it as much as I did. So I'm going to put it pretty good. It was on Tatooine. It did feel very Star Warsy for sure. I like the rock band feel of it. There's another anime that I've seen that's like it, that just follows a band through its growth. So this kind of reminded me of that, which I liked. I thought all the band members were, unique and clever. And this idea, I was kind of confused because it seems almost like an Order 66 situation where he has to give up being a Jedi, and we're on Tatooine with Boba Fett and stuff. So it's like OT time. But like, what was that with like the dead clones and droids at the beginning? Like, what the heck was going on? Like, if it was dead clones, then I would think Order 66. But since there were battle droids, I was kind of confused. But yeah, I do like the way that this show and a lot of other shows touched on the prequels a little bit, especially the one that we're going to talk about next year. The Village Bride. I really enjoyed it. I think that it merged the Japanese culture with the Star Wars story, probably the best of all of them. I would almost dare to say that The Village Bride was my favorite. I know that's an unpopular opinion. I know not a lot of people like The Village Bride. It's some people, it was their least favorite one. Maybe it was the slow pacing. I love the pacing. I love that it was slow. I love the characters were just sitting down and talking, establishing the world, what happened there. We learned about the culture of the planet. We learned about, like, the Imperials were just a presence, but we never saw them until the end. So it's kind of a looming threat, which I really liked. I liked that the Jedi was reluctant to show herself at first and get involved in the business, but then she just had this calling. And it seemed at the end she removed her mask, she cut her braid off, which was significant to her. I don't know what that means, but and then she came out as a Jedi at the end. Like, she was true to her purpose, true to her, like, had a calling. It just felt like a very Jedi thing, especially the way that it was a very quick duel. It was one slash. It just felt so elegant, like Obi-Wan taking down Maul on Tatooine. It just doesn't always have to be big and flashy. It just felt, I don't know, maybe more of an OT era type thing. I'm going to put it best as well. And the soundtrack, I rewatched it today in English, and the soundtrack gave me goosebumps the whole time. Every time I heard that theme coming, it gave me goosebumps. It was so good. The audio was so good in The Village Bride. So I don't think that one gets enough credit. From the beginning, from the promotion, I knew it was going to be top tier for me before I had even seen it, because I love the animation style, I love the pacing, I love the story. So yeah, I love that there were battle droids, and they were better in English because they had that Clone Wars voice actor. I forget his name now, but it was that voice acting from the Clone Wars. So the droids had that really familiar goofiness to them. They didn't quite have in the Japanese dub, but aside from that, I think I enjoyed the Japanese dub more for this one. The ship, I noticed both times the Imperial ship looked like the Millennium Falcon. Like, it was the Millennium Falcon, but they just added a couple pieces to it to make it like a new ship. But it was obviously the Millennium Falcon. Also, I want to say, in like almost every episode, they managed to slip in, I've got a bad feeling about this. They always found some way to slide that in there. So next up, we have The Ninth Jedi. I think it was really well done. I know it was a lot of people's favorite. It had a really good story. I really liked the pacing of this one too. Did a very good job feeling very Star Warsy. Maybe less on the Japanese culture side of things, but that was okay. I like the main character. I thought the story was really fantastic. It was such a good twist how the lightsabers, like, it was a new spin on lightsabers, how this guy built them, which I really liked. And it was a really good twist how they changed colors based on what kind of, person that they were. So, I mean, we knew from the promo art that there was going to be people standing in a circle with red lightsabers. So the twist really wasn't that shocking. So maybe digging so hard into the promotional material was kind of kicked me there. But it was really well done because it showed that she wasn't quite ready yet, fully developed as a Jedi. It showed the true nature of those Sith, but then one of those guys had turned purple while he was fighting the main character because he was kind of still not totally bought into the dark side. And I love that. That was so brilliant. So I'm going to put it pretty good. Let me think on this now. I mean, I should almost have a category between these. I only have 4 categories because there's not that many episodes, and I didn't think any of them were really that bad. But I'm going to put it pretty good for now. The lightsaber fights, it was all. No, yeah, I think that's fine. It's pretty good, isn't bad. Okay, because Tatooine Rhapsody, I really enjoyed. Let's move on. T0B1. Was not a fan of this one. And I just didn't like. It was goofy, it was cute, but it just didn't even really feel very Star Warsy, and it didn't really feel very Japanese either. I feel like it just missed the mark completely. I think that's it. Like I just didn't really even like the main character. Like the story itself was fine. It was this goofy, quirky droid, and he wanted to be a Jedi, and then he just became one somehow. He was handed two halves of the lightsaber. I don't remember how he got the crystal or how he put it together. It was just on at one point, and he just knew how to fight an Inquisitor. Inquisitor, very highly trained, skilled, dark side warriors, and he managed to take one down, which I just kind of thought was ridiculous. Like, I know it's not canon, but it just took it away, took me out of it. I mean, it looked very different. I just didn't really like. I guess it's just not my style of anime. I know some people, it's probably their favorite one. People really probably love this one. I know that there were people that like this one. I'm just not one of those people. So I didn't really like the story. I think it missed the mark on what the Visions project was kind of about. I mean, it told a new Jedi story, but I just feel like they could have done more with it. Like why he couldn't be a Jedi. Like he said he wanted to be a Jedi and he wanted to go explore. I guess he did in the end. He wanted to go save planets and stuff, but which is fine. Before the Visions came out, I had this theory that it was going to be kind of like a Pinocchio story, that he wanted to be a Jedi, but droids couldn't be Jedi, and then he overcame that. That sounds like a really interesting story to me, more so than the one that we got. But yeah, let's just move on to the Elder. Yeah. I like the Elder. I like that it followed this Master and Padawan. It felt like a kind of a good prequel story, I guess. Yeah, the pacing was kind of slow, but I mean they didn't have a ton of time to do with it. No, I think the pacing was appropriate. Like we got to have a dialogue, we got to hear the Master and the Padawan talking. Now that I'm recalling it, there's not a ton to talk about. Nothing really happened that much. They kind of went to a planet, they found the guy, they fought. But there was a lot more in there about exploring the Outer Rim. But a couple things that kind of made it lose points for me was how the Padawan got slashed across the torso and he dropped like he was dead. But then he was fine in the end. And that's just one of those things that kind of Disney Star Wars has gotten a bit of flack for, which is lightsabers just nicking somebody, just didn't quite kill him. I don't know. He got right across the chest. It looked like his guts were going to spill out after he got hit, but then he was fine. So that kind of took away from it. Like if he had actually died there, I think it would have made the fight a lot more powerful and emotional. But he was fine in the end. It's fine. It wasn't a bad episode. I just don't really understand those lightsaber physics. So, I mean, it's a different universe. I don't know. So I'm going to put, I don't even know if I need an all right category. I'm going to do this. Yeah, that makes more sense to me. The weight in the lightsaber battle, like the battle was really good. I like that there was this whole concept about how the Elder was not in his prime, and he made that clear. He was in it for he wanted the thrill of the fight, but he knew he wasn't as strong as he used to be. Like I love that they touched on that. Like he was old, he was an Elder, but he carried this history with him of the Sith. And yeah, when they were promoting the show, they said that there would be another meaning to the term the Elder by the end of it. And I don't really think I caught that meaning. So I'm not really sure what exactly that meant. If you're watching this and feel free to drop that in the comments. I think I may have missed that hidden message, but I thought it was good. I thought it was good. I think I'm being a little bit harsh on it, but I'm just kind of I'm being critical of all these shows, right? I think just recalling it, there's just not a lot to remember which is why I'm making it sound kind of dull, but it wasn't. There was a lot in the dialogue that was really nice. Like, I actually really liked that some of these shows were slow. I actually think I like the slower ones better, just because it told more of a story. We got time to get to know characters and motivation and the villain and stuff like that. So yeah, that's why I really like The Village Bride, because it just took its time. And the climax wasn't a massive battle that took 15 minutes. It was over very quickly, but that wasn't what was important. So let's move on to Lop and Ocho. I really liked it. I thought it was cute. I thought it was going to be bottom tier for me from the promotional material. But the main character was adorable. Those big bunny features, oh my gosh, they were hilarious. I loved her. The family dynamic, it was really well done. I liked everything about it. I like the story, how about the Imperials are trying to take over the planet. The father is trying to defend the planet, but the daughter's siding with the Imperials. Very good story, very good setup. I would have liked more time to see her turn against her father, because we see her very in love with her father and her family, and all she cares about is family and being happy. And then grown up, she's just like not about all of those things. So we know that stuff happened in between. I'm just kind of curious about it. I almost wish we could have gotten one more time jump in the middle just to get to see her turn, because it doesn't make. We see that she's evil, and we just have to. Not evil. Her priorities have changed, I guess, or whatever. Her allegiance has changed, but we don't really understand why that much, other than the planet needs it to survive. But we don't know why. What's happening on the planet? What is there more going on this planet? Are they running out of resources? Do they need the Imperial resources? Is the planet running out of water? Are they running out of food? Like, it would have been nice to understand her perspective a little bit better. Other than just, we need the Empire, but we're never really finding out why. But I love that whole scene with the ritual of him passing down the family sword, the lightsaber, the family sword. Made lightsaber done in Japanese culture so well. That was such a clever blend of Star Wars and Japanese culture in anime. It was really well done. I love that the father did not want the daughter, Lop. He didn't want Lop, but then at the end, he considered Lop just as much of a daughter and passed the sword down to her. So there was a bit of a personality shift in everybody in this one. She had that scouter. I'm calling it a scouter because that's what it's called in Dragon Ball Z. It looks for Dragon Ball Z when he like opens up those what's it called? I want to say like holocron or whatever. When that device was projecting all those images of their family history, she immediately scans it and he says, "No, you don't look with your eyes. Take in your own meaning," kind of thing. And it just felt very, very Star Warsy. Really like that. And but again, she slashed an X into her sister, and her sister was just fine and left. I just don't like that. I don't like when people get away from getting lethal lightsaber blows and then they escape. I don't know why. Yeah, I mean, some of these weren't like that at all, right? Like the Ninth Jedi had a ton of lightsaber fights, and no one just got nicked and survived that I can think of. If they did, it was a believable one, because it doesn't feel like it was cheap to me. So I'm going to put it pretty good. I don't know if it was top tier. Well, maybe. I really need another category here, just between these two. But yeah. Akakiri, I think, was. I don't know what they were trying to do. I don't know what vision they had for this one. I mean, it felt kind of dark and gritty, but it was also really goofy because of those two comic relief characters. I like that he was this troubled Jedi that was having these visions of the future that were just crippling him. But I didn't really like the animation style. It looked kind of like an 80s Japanese cartoon. And that's fine. That might be your jam, but it just not for me. I didn't really like it. I like the main character. He was kind of cool. He reminded me of this character that I really like from Bleach, but I don't know. It just felt too short. Maybe if they had taken more time to flesh out the characters' backstories, like the story was on fine, but when the villain came in, it was already so close to the end. And the villain, we didn't really have a reason to hate her. We just knew, like, we knew a little bit about what happened, but we didn't really know. It just felt kind of like I felt kind of confused a lot of the time. And then the ending wasn't like, obviously it wasn't a happy ending, and that's life. That's episode. Revenge of the Sith didn't have a happy ending either, but there is definitely a way to do it that, like, he sacrifices himself, and you just feel like shit at the end. Revenge of the Sith, it was like you felt emotional and attached and invested in everything that's happened, and it was a tragedy, but you understand. And this one, I mean, I guess you understood, but it felt kind of like how he ended up in that next scene when he's fighting those guards. It felt very disjointed. I don't know really how they got there. I thought that he was having a vision again, or a dream, because it just felt very out of nowhere when they got to that last scene. So that's the thing. I feel like it missed the mark. It was almost too Japanese and not enough Star Wars, because the Star Wars that they did do was, I feel like the only thing that was really Star Warsy about it was the fact that they had lightsabers. Everything else just felt like an old Japanese cartoon or anime from like the 80s. Didn't really feel very Star Warsy at all. Maybe a sci-fi. Nah, yeah. So the reason that these two are in this category is because I think they both missed the mark. Oh, sorry, I totally forgot to change that title there. Yeah, these two just missed the mark. I like the story, but it would, well, I mean, I could even just have 3 columns: mid-tier, top tier. Yeah, now that I'm looking at it, I think I could just go like this. I mean, I think that's fair. I mean, I didn't really think that any of them. Well, the thing is, there's only 9 episodes. There's not that many of them. They were all pretty short. Because they were short, the quality was very high. The stories were done very quickly. Because of that, like, it's hard to have more columns than this, So I only had 4, and then I just took one away. So yeah, I think that about does it, and I'm nearing my half an hour mark, which is perfect. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Appreciate you guys. I'm really happy with Star Wars Visions, and I've watched through it now twice. I think I'm probably going to watch through it again at some point in the future, especially since there's not that many of them. We really have time to cherish them. I'm really looking forward to seeing how the community is going to digest these shows and unpack them. Like, any of these worlds interesting enough that we want to see another season, or we want to explore the universe, dive into these different cultures and planets and races and species and different, like, these were 9 different worlds, universes of Jedi and Jedi code and Sith, and it's not what we're used to. So I wonder if any of these shows are going to be explored more than this. Is there more to unpack? I'm looking forward to seeing how this evolves, right? Because, like, we look at the Bad Batch, and it's just kind of like a story. It shows us a place in the universe, and that is its job. But this shows us 9 universes of unique stories, and just different. Well, I said it already. How the Jedi Order is the code. The Empire, everything is a little bit different in every single one of them. So, fan art, fan created music, stuff like that. I'm just looking forward to seeing what's next for Visions. How is this going to evolve over time, and are they going to continue it? I know some people are saying, I hope we get a second season, and it's like, I don't think it's going to be like that. They're not just going to add one new episode for every single one. They kind of thoroughly told a story for every single one of these, so I don't think that they're going to expand on any of them. Like, a lot of them don't even have the potential to expand, except for the Duel. No, wait, what was the first one? Why am I? The Duel. Yeah, that was the first one. The Twins. I always confuse on name. I always think The Twins is called The Duel. Yeah, The Duel has potential. I mean, they're writing a whole book about it, and I'm very interested. We've talked about this in my previous Visions videos, and everything we know about Visions. We know there's a book coming out, and I'm really excited to learn more about that universe. I think The Village Bride was really slow paced, so we've learned about those characters, so they could maybe have another episode. But I mean, that story was told really well. I don't know if I need any more from that show. You know, you think about what show you liked. You think about how are they going to continue it? What's next? The Twins has potential for sure to have another episode. I feel like we just got a tiny little baby sliver. I would have loved a full fleshed out season, and that episode that we got could have been the last episode. Feels like the pinnacle to a whole season. I want to see everything that happened before that. You know, what led him to this? Well, we know that he had a vision, but still, I guess visions are kind of what you do when you don't have time to tell a whole story. What other? Tatooine Rhapsody? Yeah, maybe. I guess some of these shows have potential for. Some of them, the story was told really well. You know, it tied it up with a bow, good enough. These other ones, I think. So I think The Duel could have. The Village Bride. No, I don't think it would need any more, even though I think it was probably my favorite. The Twins I'd like to see more of. The Ninth Jedi I'd like to see more of. Lop and Ocho did a pretty good job telling the story, but I'd like to see what's next for Lop. And I would have liked to see that in between growing up. So I would have liked to see more in the middle of that one and after, I guess. I guess same thing with the Elder. We didn't really need to see what happened before that. We can assume what the Padawan Master experience has been like. It would be nice to see what happened. No, I don't think I need more from the Elder. I think it did its job. And obviously the ones that I'm not a fan of, T0B1 and Akakiri, I didn't even need to see these ones. I certainly don't want to see more of them. So who knows? Maybe there is a way that they know which ones do the best. Maybe they're going to listen to community feedback and run with those ones, the ones that were the people like the best. But how are they going to know that unless people really rant and rave about it? I don't know if there's going to be that. I don't know if the drive is going to be there for them. I mean, I love this project, but I don't know if it's the kind of thing the Star Wars community is going to want taken to the next level. Maybe they can like partner with a couple different Japanese anime studios and give them like an involvement. You know how like EA had like gaming rights for a long time? Maybe there could be like anime rights that they give to one studio, and then that studio has freedom to do whatever they want, or like put out like a full anime movie. That's what I'd like, a full movie. Or season, I guess. Either one of those would be fine. But anyways, that's just me ranting. Thank you guys for watching, for tuning in, for hearing my thoughts. I think I'm going to wrap up the video here. But I feel like the conversation for this show is I don't think it's over. I think a lot of people are doing their rants and ratings and reviews now, but I think that there's still a lot to unpack and talk about. And we're just going to see how this continues to influence the Star Wars community and how it evolves over time. So that's it for me. Hope you guys have a great day. Going to give a quick shout out to the High Council. Love you guys. Thank you for the support. And I'll see you guys next time.